Welcome to New Mexico Black Rifle Operators Union. I'm your host, Sean. I'm going to keep this kind of short tonight. I say that and then I end up rattling off for a long time, but we have some good news today. The Supreme Court has granted certiorari, basically what this is, in the Vanderstock case. So what this is, the frames and receiver rule is actually going to have its day in court with the Supreme Court to get a final ruling, which means that the stay that's been put into play, because the final rule the ATF put out said that you couldn't have an 80% receiver, that they were illegal, and that they were actually considered a firearm. So they weren't illegal, you had to go through a background check for an 80% receiver. Now, there are a number of reasons why that's stupid and wrong. It breaks the historical test that they're supposed to apply to this, part of the APA. But there's a number of other reasons why I have a lot of issues with this. Historically, there weren't gun stores, so you had to build your own firearms. I've talked about this on this podcast before. You couldn't just go to the rifle store and buy a rifle. You ordered parts and you assembled them into a rifle. Fast forward now in the situation of modern economics, you can kind of get whatever you want, whenever you want it. The same goes with firearms. So why is this a big deal? This is the administration pushing really hard, using the same stuff that Trump opened the door for to oppress and get civilian disarmament. So this is good news. It's something that could go either way, though, because the Supreme Court tends to lately side with us. This is what stinks about this entire thing. Every time civilian disarmament gains a leg, it's not that they win. It's that they're drawing us out to have to do a legal fight. And this legal fight is costly. So this case that got all the way to the Supreme Court now is done by, I think, SAF. So shooting, I forget. There's so many of them nowadays. But SAF is one of the good guys, so is GOA, and so is FPC, Firearms Policy Coalition. These guys are the ones that kind of picked up where the NRA should have. They keep putting their money where their mouth is, so if you can kick $5 to them to get a membership or just as a donation, that'd be a great idea. I've done it. I'm going to do it again for FPC, not because I care about the injunctions that these guys have gotten for their members, but more so because they're the ones that seem to be doing the groundwork and fighting for us. And since I know we're going to have a long fight in New Mexico, specifically in July, because of the special session, the governor isn't going to relay her hand yet or show her hand yet for what she's calling for. She's going to call for the most generic things right up front that seem like they could pass before she actually tries to throw down gun control. This is her last term as a New Mexico governor, so expect the worst possible, as someone that's going out. She's trying to make her bones to get into some other cabinet position with the Biden administration or some other position later on when she finally gets shown the door in New Mexico. We could get someone way worse, and that's something we need to be very cognizant of in New Mexico politics. Look at what happened in Colorado. Colorado was at one time a very 2A red state, and now it is not even red or even purple, it is blue. And that is a problem, because as long as we see these blue states, mine included, and they're concentrated, this blue stuff is concentrated in, populist areas, population-controlled areas, or population-dense areas. That's the right term I'm looking for. We're going to have this fight. Us more rural areas, even in Colorado and in New Mexico, who actually have some common sense and realize that, response times are real. Those are the ones that are going to have to pay the piper for it. So the thing with the 2A is constant vigilance. That's why you're listening to New Mexico Black Rifle Operators Union, because sometimes I talk about guns and I talk about funny stuff, I hope. Thank you again for listening. But I try to bring the stuff you need to pay attention to. And this is one of those ones that you want to definitely watch. Again, be praying for those people in Colorado. Call those guys, all your reps in Colorado if you're in Colorado. Try to stop this. It's already cleared the House. You still have the Senate it has to clear. And pound the heck out of your governor, because that works. There's one thing that you can do in these fights that I found that works in New Mexico is calling them. Not just sending in a form email. That helps, but that doesn't do that great of a job. Take 5 minutes out of your day. You're probably going to need 30 minutes, to be honest, because you're going to hit the switchboard and you're going to have to call back multiple times. But keep doing it, because someone logs those calls. And this is kind of a way that those people in power keep a tally of where people sit on an issue. And this is one of those big ones. We shouldn't have to fight for our freedoms, and a lot of us have kind of just decided it doesn't matter anyway. We'll do what we want to do or do what we feel is right, because unjust laws shouldn't be followed. But we have to be very cognizant of what's going on here. The best way to defeat this is to try your best through the legal process. So that's what I have for you tonight. Like, share, subscribe. Most importantly, be great. It's been a great day today. New Mexico's finally warming up, and it doesn't seem to be too bad for weather. Watch out for us people that ride motorcycles, and have a good day.